please welcome Lou Dobbs.
Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful welcome, and I can't tell you how thrilled and delighted I am to be with you. It's a wonderful honor to be here at CPAC with each and every one of you. You're obviously passionate and committed conservative citizens all. That is my kind of people. This is suddenly a wonderful, wonderful, glorious morning in America, isn't it? I'm going to tell you the truth. I haven't had a bad morning since November 8th. I'm, of course, deeply grateful to Matt Slapp for the kind invitation to join you here. I know we're all grateful to Matt and the American Conservative Union for their great work and their leadership in the cause of liberty and this great, great republic of ours. Much of America this morning, by the way, they're abuzz about what you are doing here. What is going on at CPAC? They're talking about something called, by one Steve Bannon, the deconstruction of the administrative state. They're talking about Vice President Pence's call to each and every one of us and our fellow citizens to march for the ideals and the values Americans cherish, to mobilize to defend the president's agenda. To march for President Trump because, as the Vice President said last night, the Dems, and I will be candid with you, I spell that D-I-M-M-S, the left, the opposition party of the national left-wing media, as the Vice President said, are not idle. When has any of us, think about this please, what would be the last time you heard a Republican Vice President of the United States call for our citizens to march, to mobilize, for crying out loud? I have to tell you, that is music to my ears, and it lifts my spirits, and I hope it does yours, because I mean to march, and I hope you will too. Republicans, conservatives, all of us have been called to the ramparts to defend this administration and its policies. That, ladies and gentlemen, is exciting. It is absolutely exhilarating. And we are now part of this moment and this history, along with the president who has made it possible. We've been called to action at home, in Washington, D.C., and constituent town halls all across the country, targeted by the left. Does anyone here doubt they've been targeted by left-wing activists? As we go about the business of reclaiming our country, our values, our land, and our destiny, Benjamin Franklin cautioned our government is the world's greatest constitutional republic, if only we can keep it. Well, thanks to you, our fellow citizens who voted for Donald Trump and Mike Pence, I assure you I have not one single doubt whatsoever that we will keep this republic. And I believe truly that our work will be exhilarating each and every single day. It will never be drudgery. After all, there are billions of people around the world who would gladly take up our task in trade to become citizens of this great nation. Of course, there are millions of people who also take something of a shortcut occasionally. They do overstay their visas. They do cross our southern border. And in addition to those folks, there is the matter of tens of billions of dollars that flow from America to Mexico. Some $30 to $50 billion in illegal drugs that are brought into this country. The $25 to $40 billion in remittances from principally Mexican nationals in this country, but Central American nationals as well, sending all of that money back to their families. There is the $60 billion trade surplus that Donald Trump has talked about on the campaign trail and is focused on as president. Do you recall how shocked, utterly shocked, the open borders, cheap labor establishment, and left-wing national media were when Donald Trump first said, "Secure the border, build that wall, stop human traffic, and the deadly drugs that devastate so many, and protect Americans, our workers, our young people, our families, and our very way of life." Secretary of State Tillerson and Homeland Security Secretary Kelly yesterday in Mexico City, learning firsthand how fiercely the government of Mexico will fight for all of that money in all its forms. The establishment in this country is not the only establishment being turned upside down by President Trump and his administration. And then there are the Mexican drug cartels, and after 25 years of NAFTA, half of Mexico remains in poverty. A lot of work to be done, and this president has already in 36 days demonstrated that he and his administration are just the people to work for America. Think about what we have witnessed. You don't hear it from the national media. You don't hear it from the opposing party. You don't hear it from some of the leaders of the Republican Party. But this president has already carried out 24 executive actions, orders, memoranda, withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the Keystone Pipeline and Dakota Access, those pipelines approved, and they're moving ahead. The nomination of Judge Neil Gorsuch. And by the way, he made that great nomination, that great appointment, and still to this day continues with a clear eye and a strong voice criticizing the judiciary, because that is the American way. Meetings with world leaders, one after another, Abe, Trudeau, May, Netanyahu. Has anybody in years seen Netanyahu smile so broadly? There is a new light in America, and my goodness, all those countless meetings already with CEOs. He's talking to business leaders, the private sector, capitalists. Capitalist is back in vogue. Thousands of jobs he's already created and saved, and he did much of it before he was even in the Oval Office. He's met with labor unions. He's brought labor unions and the leaders into the White House. Do you know many of those labor leaders had never seen the Oval Office? That's how well treated they were by by the previous occupant of the White House. The left-wing media, the opposition party, refuses to credit this president in his 36 days in office. They're at war with this president. But they're ignoring also about $3 trillion in market cap that has been gained in our equities market since he was elected. You can run all the popularity polls you want. You can run all of the confidence metrics and indexes you want. But $3 trillion in American stocks is one heck of a statement by the American people about our new president. Housing is showing strong signs of recovery, existing home sales at a 10-year high. Workers are only beginning, to re-enter the marketplace. The dollar is strong. Oh yes, there is $20 trillion in debt. There are some issues, no question. Many years ago, 1988, I was doing one of the last interviews that Ronald Reagan did as president in the Oval Office. And I asked him about deficits, and I asked him about the trade deficit, the national debt, the federal budget deficit, as he was driving the country toward succeeding in the collapse of Marxist-Leninism and the end of the Soviet Union because of the budgets that he created, the military strength that he built, and that great, great slogan, which was his: prosperity and peace through strength. Reagan said, as I asked him about those deficits, because I could not ignore those largest in our history, Ronald Reagan looked at me and he sort of cocked his head. And I couldn't wait to hear what he was going to say about economic policy on those issues. And he said, "Well, Lou, I think they're about right for a country our size." To this day, I don't know what he meant with that answer. But I can tell you, he was exactly right, wasn't he? To have succeeded as a nation in defeating our ideological enemy, to have ended the Cold War. There are issues that loom larger in the minds of leaders, and I believe that we have elected another such leader in President Trump. The left, who would bleed this nation with redistributive economics and ever greater state power and strip our citizens of their individual rights, trying to eliminate individual freedom. And make no mistake, the venal, vicious attacks against our president and his administration by the left-wing national media will continue, unleashed by the large global corporatists who own them. It is a mistake to ignore who has given them permission to be what they have become. This national left-wing media is neither independent nor free, but doing the bidding rather of the establishment, the elites against whom this president campaigned. I don't believe it's a fair fight, by the way. I think this president and his administration will easily prevail. I have absolute confidence in you. I believe you will march, you will mobilize, you will support this president, you will support his administration, his policies, and President Trump and this country are most importantly of all, and you and I along with them, on the right side of history. I want to say I am so excited about our prospects and our future, and the people who have joined together to make possible this presidency and to make possible this nation and its continued arc in history. I would like to quote in closing one of my favorite philosophers. He's a French philosopher. Excuse me, I can't do that. Not in, it's America first. It's buy America, it's hire America. I'm going to conclude simply by saying, Yogi Berra once said, the future is not what it once was, because of what you did and what we accomplished on November 8th. And because of all that, the future of America, the United States of America, I believe looms brighter than as never before. And I thank you for all you have done and will continue to do to make that future possible for succeeding generations of great Americans like you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Good to see you.